That sounds mad. That sounds bad.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. We are making the final push to get the Ultra4 on the dyno at PFI speed. So let's see if we can get there and get on the dyno.
What's going on, Daniel?
What are you working on?
Just putting some finishing touches on the car here. Tightening up these belts. Got some bolts we got to check tonight. Make sure everything's locked down so that we can hear some horsepower tomorrow.
What's going on with that belt?
Just putting it back on. I think we forgot to tighten something. I don't know. It jumped a little bit, but
The steering belt?
yeah.
You think it might have been too tight, or?
Who knows?
Well, honestly, we had some questions about that belt and the bracket and how well it's going to do. So this is all our testing phase to find out what's going on. We got a bunch of little work we got to get done. The car is sitting on weight. We got, I think it's the right springs. We may make one more change, but we're sitting right at 50-50 on the front. We got a bunch of little things done, so I'll show you those real quick. Finally got everything all mounted up here. We got our bypass shocks, mounted our reservoirs on the front. Weren't planning on doing this, but it works. The other cool thing is this is actually going to help with airflow. So as we're moving, air flows over the bypass or the reservoir and pulls heat out of it. Just throwing some cosmetics together. We got the winch in here, got the light on, and it's actually starting to look like the front of a car. This is sitting at ride height. Like I said, we might adjust the upper spring on the front. The lower mainspring's fine, but we are sitting about where we want to because the arms are sitting level. I've got to finish up the steering bracket to get on the dyno tomorrow. We can throw it all together and make it work, but we want to get that finished. And like I said, there's just a bunch of little things that we have to do. The dyno is kind of the first step in our testing process. So we're getting everything ready for that to make sure the engine, drivetrain, everything's happy there. And then from that point, we go on to a bunch of little checks and different things before we actually take it out in the dirt and start testing all that. We put a massive throttle return spring on. The boost pressure from the superchargers was actually pushing it open and making it idle high. It also might be a little bit in the tune, but the car is definitely sitting with a very aggressive ride height stance. The back is up a bit, which we have more travel in the back, and then the front obviously is a little lower, but not bad at all. So we're gonna get to work. We'll kind of update you as we go, and hopefully if all goes well, the second half of this video, we will be on the dyno at PFI tomorrow morning. What are you working on now?
Pulling the IAC off.
The what?
The IAC, the idle air control valve.
What does this do?
This has a little port that allows some air past the throttle body so that it can idle while the throttle body's closed, but we have a feeling it might be stuck because we're running too high RPMs at idle and we can't get it to stay down.
It keeps getting stuck and running up to 3,300 RPMs each time. Not higher, not lower, but that. So there's a possibility we got a bad IAC.
Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, throw away the plan.
All right, so we are, I don't know, 5 days later? I don't know. It's been a few days. We've been just fighting this issue, and we got it figured out. I went through a couple different throttle bodies, changed the IAC sensor out.
Time out.
Be right back. Joe's over here on top of the car. He's actually doing work, so good man. All right, so what it ended up being is I think our cam specs were wrong that we had, so verified that and changed all the specs to what they were supposed to be, and it's happy now. So now we've got to do a little tweaking on the steering pump, so we're gonna get that done and get that dialed in tonight. I actually got the steering bracket done. Let me show you that real quick. So the front steering bracket is now done. We added some extra plates obviously for strength, but these also act as a steering stop. So the steering is stopping both at the ram and down at the knuckle where the knuckles stop at, so you're not fighting each other. They're both stopping at the same time. And then the back is removable, and then we have 3 bolts you can kind of see there, and then added the weld washer and everything's nice and square. So got that done. We'll paint it with steel it. So we gotta put the brakes back on, re-bleed them, and now we're checking the steering system, getting the pump all lined up and everything with that. And then past that, what is it, just little stuff?
Yeah, we start.
That's all, that's major stuff.
All the big stuff should finally be done.
It felt horrible, man. We were supposed to be there Friday and we just kept having hiccups Thursday. So I talked with Jamie, we played with a couple things, but ultimately we didn't make that dyno session. So here we are now on Monday. Worked over the weekend and got it all figured out, and now we're happy.
So real quick, I'm gonna have Daniel turn the engine a couple times. I wanna check the alignment on these belts before we go hot. And once I verify everything's in line, flip the switch and make some noise.
Great. Everything clear?
Yeah, go hot. That is not Daniel. There he is.
Oh my. This car is happy. They gave us grief for a couple days, but I'm pretty sure it's happy now, Joe.
Yeah, it sounds good.
You got a, oh, I didn't know the short fits in there.
The short one does fit in there, just barely. You have to use it on that upper one though,
I
because...
made sure when I stopped the car that I lined the pulley up.
Perfect, good job. Well done, well done.
Loud noises. Definitely looks better.
Yeah, so
oh, yeah, the angle looks much better.
it was tracking very well from the other side. I think if we can zoom in here, I can show.
Do you think
show
that
them.
tension was pulling it from? You know, if you think about it, Joe, the belt
There.
it was pulling from the outside, so it could have been that other belt was just way too tight.
Yeah, and if you look at the pump right here, so you can see that belt. So the inner pulley is a 4 rib, but this is a 6 rib on the outer pulley.
No, it's a 3 rib.
Or I'm sorry, a 3 rib and a 4 rib, something like that. Anyway, so what we do is we have this belt set to the back. Originally it was set to the front, and because the belt was just a smidge too short, I couldn't get it to slide to the back of the pump, and we were out of room to adjust it. So now that we bought just a tad bit longer belt and did some clearancing on that bracket, I got the pump sitting exactly where I want it. We got about a ½ inch of play on the belt, which is a pretty standard amount of play.
Yeah.
We'll get it under load here in a day or two and see how it does at higher RPMs, but it seems to be tracking very well at the low RPMs.
Yeah, load won't affect that. If anything, well, maybe.
I mean, load will affect everything because there's a little bit of torquing on the engine and the components. Everything's got a little bit of, but
yeah.
How much, I don't know. So we'll see.
It was interesting when we were revving it up, our map sensor. I was looking at our map sensor, and when we were revving it up, we were hitting 3 pounds of boost without a load on it. Which,
Well, I mean, 2 superchargers.
yeah, but typically you're not building boost that easy. So if we're building 3 pounds of boost just like that, I think we're going to be around our 20. Yeah.
Oh, I easily think you're going to get 20.
If we hit 20, well, that's math says about 1,200, and if we go higher, then who knows? We'll see what's actually to the wheels, but I'm excited.
This thing may be surprisingly higher than we expect.
It'll be right about there. It's terrifying though. Now that the power steering pump is all taken care of, we're just going to start going through a bunch of little stuff on this car and get it ready to get it on the dyno. I haven't excuse me, too many fumes. I haven't got a call back from Jamie as far as what day, but we anticipate one day this week we'll be up there. So, all right, today's Wednesday, and really good news. Everything is lined up, and we'll be on the dyno tomorrow. So the rest of tonight, on this part of the video, we're gonna finish up all the stuff that we need to wrap up, just a ton of little stuff. We're gonna bleed the brakes again, double check the hydraulic system, make sure there's no air, and we're just gonna start getting this on weight, getting everything ready, and then hopefully get it on the trailer tonight. Actually, probably put it on the trailer in the morning, and then we're gonna head over to the dyno. So everything's looking great to have the dyno on this video. One last thing that we're gonna do before we start buttoning this thing up, we're going to put the transmission in gear with the tires, the rear tires in the air. We wanna put it under load, and we wanna make sure that it's happy with that and there's no issues with anything there. So one last check with that. So let's get her fired up. It moves, it stops. May have to play with the pressure a little bit. What was that?
I don't know.
Need to verify the RPMs on the pump. Made a little bit of a mess. We got to clean that. But what else we got?
I just heard that suck air when I did this.
Well, yeah, because you're moving that. It's moving fluid. Because as the piston's moving in the servo, it's still moving fluid.
Should I hear it suck air?
I don't know. We can check it and see what's in there. It's not overflowing, so let's.
I'll stop it for a second.
This isn't like coolant. Shouldn't come spraying out.
Well, it's got that overflow on it. So.
Huh? I think we're a little low.
Yeah, it's getting
bit.
through the system.
Not much.
That's why I was staring back and forth while I was up.
Yeah, best way to get air out is bump it and just keep bumping it and bumping it. So.
That's what I kept doing.
Okay, well, let's get the tires on. Let's start getting everything tidied up and get it ready for the dyno. You happy with everything?
Think so. Seems like it's working good.
You look good in the driver's seat. Would you race this, Joe?
No, probably not.
You wouldn't race it?
Maybe after hours and hours and hours and hours of wheel time.
We are not putting the front shafts, diff, and all that for tomorrow. We'll deal with that later, but we're waiting on something. Oh, the clips for the shafts. Got everything bolted down. Even got the seat snug. Oh, we need to put a hose clamp on the power steering reservoir. Where's the car? There's just oil, fluid marks and everything. Did you finally get mad and destroy it?
What happened here?
That is a little bit of overflow of the gear oil. But the car's over here next to the other one. They look good together. Oh man, we need more spring in the front still. It's so close. It's really interesting how this thing's sitting, and what's really weird is we're only about an inch below ride height in the front, but boy, that rear is kicked up. Interesting.
Looks pretty cool.
It's got like the
Look at these crazy headlights right here.
reverse. What's that?
Crazy looking headlights right here.
They look like torpedo launchers. If you ever pop an IFP, it'll launch straight out the front.
It's like your James Bond. Yeah.
We've still got to work on the alignment. We haven't done that, but we're fine for now for the dyno tomorrow. But it's really exciting. Things actually coming together.
Radiator.
What about it?
We never bolted it on.
Yeah, that could be important. Throw the bolts on there. Ooh, put the bolts on the exhaust here. So now the collector won't pop off because it's known to do that. In the morning, I'm going to do just one more nut and bolt fitting check. Just check a bunch of stuff, and I think we'll be good for tomorrow. So what say you, Joe?
I say fist bump. I gotta go.
Do what?
I don't get to fist bump you. Night.
All right, I'm gonna take care of a couple other little quick things, clean up, and get this place. It's a disaster. Let's just say that. So I'm gonna work on this. I will see you guys in the morning. Can't wait to take you to the dyno at PFI. Dyno day. Got a couple quick little things to take care of. Get the car on the trailer, get up to PFI. Got a tire on the trailer, had a random trailer brake issue, decided to activate and not let up. So that new tire is now a bad tire. So I'm gonna throw the spare on and get the car loaded. The official first drive, I guess. Everything felt good. Obviously needs the tune all dialed in, but I could definitely feel the stall converter. It's definitely it's a higher stall one. It's like 3,900 or 4,000. It's up there, but anyways, so yeah, the weirdest thing about this car is because you're so far forward, it's just strange having the front tire right there. I mean, most of the cars, your typical cars, are your front tires, I don't know, because it's a solid axle, it's further out in front, you're sitting further back. But with this, the way it's set up, especially with the IFS, my foot is, you know, halfway into the tire, so it's just so weird, and gonna have to get used to just understand how to drive this thing and different things. So, boy. Anyways, well, we're on our way to PFI. I think we're here. There's a lot of Hondas, so I'm feeling pretty confident I'm in the right place. All right, so I just met with Brent and Jamie. They got to finish up a tune they're doing on the CRX right now, and then we'll get up on there and go from there and get the tune going. So I think we'll probably get unloaded here soon, and we'll see what's happening. Totally just realized I left the camera running that entire time, so I'm sure the battery's dead on the camera, so we may have to shoot the rest of this on my phone. But that was a fun little drive around the parking lot. We are going to switch tires. Right now we got a set of 40s on there, but it was a little big for the dyno, so they want us to run smaller, so we're running 35s. So I'm going to get these swapped out real quick. 35s. Going to be smaller. This thing's pretty cool. I don't know if it's just a fun bug or what, but it's got a STI engine in there. Nice radiator. Pretty sure this radiator came from a Cherokee. Really good looking install though. This thing's clean. I'm sure Preston's seen it, but he'd probably like it. Super clean. Man, we got a problem. Got these tires on here and found one slight issue. Problem. So with a smaller tire, the offset, this bolt is just barely touching the lugs of the tire, so I'm gonna pull that off, which is really weird because on this side I see it's a stover nut, the other's a nylock, so it's too thick. So all I'm gonna do is pull that off. For what we're doing here, this wouldn't be a problem, and ultimately it's not an issue because we're not riding on 35s, we're riding on 40s. So I'm gonna pop that off real quick. This thing's cool. If you haven't seen these, this is from Crescent. It's a socket kit with a ratchet built into a crescent wrench. So these are awesome for our toolkits we use in the race car because you get a ratchet, and you get that. And you can flip it around and use it like a pipe wrench too. That is your 2 cents tool tip. I don't know. Well, we're about to pull it in now. So you said it's super comfy?
Oh yeah, way comfy. I love it.
Do you feel like you're sitting too low at all? Or?
No, I really don't. I like the room.
Yeah.
You know, once helmet and everything, like
after bouncing my head off roofs and everything, and plus once you get the window net, it hangs down a little bit, but it still needs a bunch of stuff panel wise.
Like I feel comfortable.
Oh, all the meth is controlled through this.
Okay.
So this is their new one that doesn't have the standalone controller. It's all through that. So this is actually ran through a vacuum line. So that is everything. The pump's below you, and we shouldn't run through that. It's got like 3 quarts. Eventually, I'm going to put a 7-gallon tank in here because we use so much. But fired right up that time. I think it just took a second to get happy earlier. It didn't want to start right away. So now he's just gonna back it in and we'll get her going.
Shot her right off.
Blew the boost, all the exhaust.
Blew the exhaust off.
That V-band just popped off.
451.
That's weak. Needs a lot more.
Yeah.
Got going on, Daniel?
pulling spark plugs up.
Fun. These don't look that difficult to get to.
No, you don't need a special tool. You can use a normal ratchet.
You don't need to go cut up a wrench and then make a chunk of metal to go on it to actually get the spark plugs out. Nice. So all the spark plugs had to come out. Sounds like the boost is actually blowing out the spark because they need to be re-gapped over here. And we were at a little over.
We were over 30,000. So now we're going down to 20.
Nice. So we shouldn't have that spark getting blown out anymore because the.
Hopefully this solves our issue.
The issue on the top end?
Yep.
Big one. Woo!
It's ripping.
717.
There it is. Oh boy.
All right, so I think that's our final number. We're keeping it safe at 23 degrees. That's healthy, dude. That's some woof.
That is some moo pow. That is some moo pow.
We need to do a calculation and see how much we're actually at the crank, but you know, if you figure 36%, we'll see. All right, get some fresh air in here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we didn't hit 870, but are you happy with it?
I am stoked, man. This is
For,
intense, honestly.
for this car, taking into account that we're going through the wrong side of the TKs for the rear wheels, if we're going through the front, I bet we'd get a little more out of it, but yeah.
It's pretty wicked.
Yeah.
You did a good job,
It
Jamie.
sounds amazing.
It's evil.
It is evil.
So you happy with it though?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Totally stoked.
Nice. Temps look good. Everything looks good. We're not super aggressive on the timing. It's
no,
not
no.
ridiculous. The other thing I was thinking about too is with these heads, because they're so big and how well they flow, that could be affecting. I mean, there's not a lot of restrictions, so we're not making as much boost, which is restrictions. So cool.
And to go somewhere with less elevation, it's gonna.
What are you at here?
Wake up, yeah.
What are we at here?
A little over a mile high, but we had, you know, the DA. I don't know what the DA is today, but it's anywhere from 6,000 to 10,000 feet.
Losing a lot. So.
Because you bring in the hammers, you're going to be at 0.
Yeah.
Well, it was like the difference with the other car when after I dynoed it and took the hammers, it was dramatically different. It's like oxygen.
Pound difference.
Cool.
We're at sea level there.
And the nice thing is with the Holly system that you have, all the fuels compensate, you know. For
Yeah, the wideband just takes care of it.
Yeah,
That's how
it's
I'm
great.
gonna do this and get the fuel map close enough that it's not having to do a lot.
And how much is it correcting right now?
It's correcting like 0.5% to 1.
Yeah, that's not much at all. So. Well, so our final number again, we and you said we hit 7,000 RPMs.
Yep.
We were up at 7. Do you have our torque?
No, no, it was too noisy, so it wouldn't pick it up.
Oh, okay. I'm curious. But yeah, 717. That's crazy. I keep getting texts from the other guy, Jordan. He goes, "You need to take it to 7,500." And I'm like, that's a lot.
Yeah, and like when you're off road, you know, it's about finishing.
Yeah.
It's always about finishing.
You want to pull her out, Corey?
Hell of a show. What?
Yep.
You want to pull her out?
Sure.
Hey, are you good? Okay.
That was awesome. That thing is just wicked.
I told you it's going to be one of the wildest rides you've had on there.
It is too. It's great.
I think I might have to go borrow it from him. I want to hear it outside.
Yeah, that sounds
He looks tiny in there.
probably what I'd look like in there.
Hey, put it in park and give it a good rip. See what she sounds like in the air, not in a clogged environment. What? Hold down. Oh, hold on. There's park.
He's gonna light him up. Ah, come on, light him up! That sounds mad. That sounds bad. Them little itty bitty 35s on there. Who cares?
That sounds so good, dude. It's so good.
Should be able to turn it and just drop it. Well, that's it. So we're going to get the buggy loaded up. We made a little bit of a mess, and so we're cleaning that up. I'm not that mean that I'm just gonna crap all over his floor and leave it. So, but really appreciate Brent and Jamie. These guys, where's that? Oh, there it is. Tore it up. 717. We can't complain about that.
It's wicked good.
you know, when it comes to Ultra4, like I said, we did the math. That's, you know, pushing 1200 crank, and I'm not going to put it on an engine dyno. That's just too much work. So really appreciate you guys. Thanks for
Anytime, man. It was a blast, bro.
Thanks
We
for
got more
bringing
coming.
it. Yeah.
Oh man, so this is definitely, it's been a long journey, just one step at a time in the progress. We got a runner, now we got a bunch of little problems to figure out and take care of, and it's always with the new car, trying new stuff, and it happens. So anyways, I'm gonna get back to the shop now. Man, where'd the light go? Really happy with what the dyno numbers came out to be. They showed true to what we expected. Ultra4s lose horsepower, and especially when you're going through the opposite side of the T-case, because we are a reverse engine. Can't complain at all. 717 horsepower to the wheels. So we'll have to go through everything, see who guessed the closest. We had a couple different threads going, and that's going to be awesome. We're going to do some giveaways for that. If you like this video, make sure you give us a like button. It's an awesome video. Let's try and get a lot of likes on this to really show how awesome this car is and get it out there. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. We do giveaways every 500 subscribers. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. So fist bump for you. Joe's not here, so another fist bump for you.
That sounds mad. That sounds bad.